Hi, it's the Lipstick Gal. Thanks for watching today. I wanted to do a whole video using products that I was inspired to buy because of YouTubers or influencers. Products that other people just really talked highly about, and I was like, oh yes, okay, that sounds really good. I hope you're having a great day. Subscribe if you haven't, and I'm just gonna start with my sunscreen. So this sunscreen here is from Crave Beauty. This is called the Beet Shield. It's an entire line of skincare products created by Leah Yu. I think I have a cat hair on my lip. Oh, kitty cat, hair everywhere. She likes to sit up here on my table, not that this matters, and then there's cat hair all over my brushes, and I'm trying to brush them off. The cat hairs are flying through the air, hence the cat hair on my mouth. I think it's gone now. All right, so this right here is what the sunscreen looks like. It's a 50 SPF with a PA rating of 4 pluses, and it's a little on the thicker side than what I had been using before. I've been using the Misha Sun Milk that I used to use because Michelle Phan turned me onto it. I really do love a good recommendation. And this one I love so much because it gives my skin a glowy look, and it has a really great coverage, and it's hydrating at the same time. Oh, I just love it. I was trying to make sure and get it like right under my eyes. So I'm gonna let it sit for a few minutes before we continue. My primer is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. This is something that Tarte has talked about for years and years and years, and lamented when they changed the formula. And you know, I don't know that I ever really noticed that. This is the first container that I purchased, and I've had this for more than a year now, and it has a little dip in it, but it's still going strong. You really don't need a lot. But I do find that when I use this, my pores look so much better. The other thing I do, since I do have a few fine, like my deeper lines like right up in here, this helps to blur those out, and the makeup sits better on it. So I do run a little bit. But if it's good for pores, it has to be good for lines too. So I put it in a few other places where I'm not really as concerned with my pores as I am other things. The foundation I'm going to use today, I feel like, is one that just about any YouTuber you can think of has talked about and really raved about. This is one of those, okay, I love high-end products. I live for high-end products. I don't like the high-end price tag, but I really do. And I have been for many years really skeptical, especially of drugstore foundations. And there have been two that have completely changed my mind. This is one of them. This is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear. I happen to have the shade, what shade are you? 405. But I'll tell you, this is a beautiful, beautiful foundation. It has a pump. It's one of those things that I'm like, why can't more companies like Estee Lauder do that? But I just like to dot it on and then blend it in with a sponge. Tati talk about this. I remember hearing Andrea Mattiliano, Taylor from that Taylor, just a lot of people. This is a very well loved formula, and it works really well for quite a few people. Don't I look fabulous? It's a good thing this is not the look for makeup. Let me blend it in. Oh, and my little microfiber sponge. This is the Juno & Co. Thank you, Nikki Tutorials. This is a great foundation. Not a great drugstore foundation, just a great foundation. I love the fact that it is so affordable compared to so many other high-end options, but I love that it looks like skin, feels like skin, and has really beautiful coverage. It's very buildable, but I love this foundation. So, so good. I've been in a love affair with this concealer. This is the Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. I have the shade Lace. This is one that I heard Nikki Tutorials talk about. Then I heard Kathleen Lights talk about it again and again and again. And I was like, really? And I don't really have a lot of experience with Jouer. And I was like, but it's probably the concealer that I have had for the longest time that I haven't fallen out of love with. There have been a lot of other concealers in my life, and this is like really high coverage, so I'm gonna tap it out a little bit and distribute it. But the one thing I will tell you is that I will find a concealer and I'll like it for like 3 or 4 weeks, and then I'll be like, and then I come up with a con to the concealer. And I haven't with this. This concealer is absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. And for me, I'm almost 45. I like that it has hyaluronic acid in it so that my skin is never dry right under here. It really, and I don't really have dry skin anywhere. I have oily skin around my T-zone, not so much my forehead, but like right here and a little bit of my chin. And the rest of my skin is very much normal, but my under eyes can definitely, the older I get, they definitely feel like, if I'm not careful, too much powder, they age by 10 years. If I use the wrong concealer, they age by 10 years. So I'm trying really, really, really hard to make sure that I find a concealer that works well. And what used to work well for me, you know, before I hit 40, doesn't always do it anymore. They can be a little dry in formula. And I miss the ease of my 20s and 30s under eye skin. But when I find something that is really this good, and I do have a lot of dark circles under my eyes. There is a lot to cover there, and I feel like this does such a gorgeous job of that. The next product I have is one I have yet to even try. It's still in the box. It's from Huda Beauty. This is the Easy Bake Loose Powder. Now this comes as a recommendation from Mel Thompson. Mel Thompson loves this powder. I love Mel Thompson. I think she's fabulous. Ooh, I like that it even has like a little stopper here that you can easily take out to keep the powder from going everywhere. And it's kind of like a little mesh net here. All right, so Mel says she doesn't use this like directly under the eyes, but where she loves to use it is right across her pores and corners of her nose. It just really stops everything from going places, and it really helps to blur out her pores. So yes, yes, and yes. So I'm gonna press my damp beauty sponge in here. That's probably not enough, but we'll do our best. And we're just going to go right across the pores area and the nose. I haven't tried this yet. Oh, she wasn't lying. It is very fragranced. If you do not like fragranced makeup items or skincare items, this would definitely cause a problem for you. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It's like pores? What pores? Beautiful. I have the shade Pound Cake, by the way. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Like truly, when I get to the point where it's hard for me to say anything other than like giggle and say wow and be truly impressed, oh, I'm really enjoying it. I've been wanting to try this one, but I didn't want to try it anywhere but on camera. So I'm not going to put it under my eyes. I feel like that would be a huge mistake. I'm going to use a different powder there. This has been a long time powder favorite. It's from Hourglass. It's the Veil Setting Powder. Now, a ton of beauty YouTubers, influencers have talked about this product. I can think of, just a ton of people. Mel has talked about this. Mel Thompson has. Andrea Mattiliano has. I know that Jessica from Jam Beauty has. But I think I remember most really seeing Jaclyn Hill go gaga for this. And then when I saw her use it for like a long wear makeup application, I was like, oh yes, that's right. This is so good. So I'm going to make sure that my concealer is not creasing under my eye. Just tap it out, and then I'm going to use this underneath my eyes. This is so finely milled. I feel like I can use any Hourglass powder underneath my eye, and it doesn't age me. I still feel like I look nearly 45. But the minute I use other powders under there, it can make me look like I'm almost 55. And there's nothing wrong with that age, but I want to be the age that I am. I want to look the age that I am. I don't want to wear a makeup item that is going to make me look significantly older than I am. So I'm going to use this on the rest of my face and the perimeter of my face where I haven't already baked with the Huda Beauty. And then I'm going to make sure to brush off all the excess powder because, boy, my pores really look non-existent. Huda, how did I not jump on this train a long time ago? The bronzer that I'm going to use today is a favorite of mine. This is from Bare Minerals. And this is the Invisible Bronze. I think I picked this up a year ago. I had seen a video with Jamie Page from Jamie Page Beauty, and she was trying subscribers' recommendations. And this is one that had been recommended to her. I have the shade Fair to Light. It's a baked product. It's slightly domed. It's really, really beautiful. And I think the favorite thing about this for me is that when I put it on, you can see it, but it's not too orange. It's not too dark. It really is a beautiful bronze shade, and it works so, so well. It also has just a slight, almost pinky undertone, so there are days that I wear this and I don't wear any blush. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's a beautiful bronze. It looks quite natural. I absolutely love it. It's a favorite. So this is the one product I would say out of all of these things that I haven't quite settled into, do I love it or not? And I think it's shade, but it's this. So this is the blush in Toasted Cinnamon from Burt's Bees. And I feel like all you have to say is Toasted Cinnamon. And if you watch Kathleen Lights at all, you know it's from her. It's a recommendation. She loves this blush. It was like the only blush she wore in like every video for like a year. Like it's her favorite blush. So I always feel like although it's a really pretty shade and it is a little bit more on the orangey side, it's a little dark for me. But we're gonna throw some on today. I'm gonna make sure to not get too much on my brush and see if we can actually fall in love with it. Because I've liked it, I just haven't loved it. Oh, that's pretty. Another thing I picked up from Kathleen was that, and I don't know that she still uses this, but years ago she had a blush brush that was like this. This is not the same one. Hers was from Tarte, but it was very loosely packed, very long, kind of flimsy, floppy bristles. And she said it was perfect for putting on blush without getting too much on. And I have the ability to quickly cross over from normal to clown territory by like just a little too much blush, or maybe a brush that is, you know, too densely packed. And this has really helped a lot. I have a couple of brushes that are like this, and I always use them for blush. And on the days that they're in the wash and I have to try something else, sometimes it's like, huh, time to buff over. You gotta put a little too much on. One of my all-time favorite highlights, and I love that it's an affordable highlight, it's a drugstore highlight, but it's one that I got turned on to by Andrea Mattiliano. It's this one from Flower Beauty. This is the Shimmer and Strobe highlighting palette. Now the brush that comes in here is for the birds. It's not really gonna do you any favors, but the shades in here are absolutely glorious. They are just like metallic shimmery heaven. And so I end up taking my favorite highlight brush, which is the Goss Airbrush, and just kind of coasting over all three of them. That was too much, but just a light little once over. And then when I hit the tops of my cheekbones with this, it's just like little baby angels begin to sing. Huge fan of Goss, by the way. Hence me having and using his brushes. I love a good recommendation, and there is so much. I think Wayne was the one who turned me on to Charlotte Tilbury as a brand, and have fallen in love, and then I was just discovering things on my own. But I'll tell you, a recommendation from a favorite YouTuber, one of my favorite things. One of my all-time favorite YouTubers is Emily Noel. And there are so many things I have purchased because of Emily Awards or because of a really strong recommendation or a product I just see her continually reaching for. And there was one that came out, I think it was October, November last year, and I saw her do a review, and I don't think I would have picked it up at all had I not seen her rave about it. And it's this little guy here. This is the Tickled Peach palette from Too Faced. It's a little 8-pan palette. It has a limited number of shades, but what I thought was so cool was that Emily said, you know, I use this as an under eye setting powder, this is a highlight, this is a bronze, and this is a blush. And I was like, you have brushes that small? Of course she does. But the idea was it can be a full face palette, and if you're traveling, it's so tiny and so compact. I'm just going to use it on the eyes today. But I love that she goes outside of the realm of eyeshadow palette and goes, I use this on my face too. So I have really been moving back into a love affair with smaller palettes, and I realized it started when I picked this up last November. And I find that this is a really great palette. It has a lot of extremely wearable shades in here with a couple of colors that help me get outside of my normal neutral warmish browns. There are some really warm colors, but there's this kind of peachy tone here, this more plummy tone, and I love this. And I think out of I do have the Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced. I do have a lot of their other palettes that come in this metallic packaging, but this is the one that I reach for the most. I reach for this even over some of the 9-pan palettes that I have from Too Faced. I love this palette. And every time I see it, it puts a smile on my face and I think of Emily. So I'm just starting with the lightest matte shade in here, kind of just to go all over the lids. I'm going to take this shade right here. This one's called Peached Spice, and it's a medium matte brown. Put that right in my crease. There are days that I'll wear just these two shades. It's so easy to do. I'm going to pick up this shade here. This is called Plum Fun. And it is a little bit of a shimmery shade. It's not too bad, but I like to wear this one on the outside edge just to deepen looks a little bit. I feel like I'm going to use a different brush. I don't like this brush for this area. I'm going to take this shade here. This is Warm and Fuzzy, and I'm just going to place this all over the lid. I'm going to take the lightest shimmer shade in here. This one's called Parisian Peach, and I'm going to put that on my inner corner and just on the very beginning of the lower lash line. I'm going to take that lightest brown peach spice shade and I'm going to use that on the lower lash line. And the lightest nude shade in here is Peach Bum, and that's going to go in the arch of my brow. I'm going to use one of my absolute favorite eyeliners ever. This is from Colourpop. This is their cream gel color. This is something that I remember when it launched. I was already in love with Colourpop, so I would have purchased it anyway. And then I saw a review from Messy Jessie. And Messy Jessie Beauty, Jessie from there, I think she's fantastic, but she's kind of like my go-to for Colourpop reviews. And she really liked these. And I have since been using like the darkest brown shade I can find from them to use in my upper waterline, just to kind of tight line things just a little bit. So I'm gonna shove some of this up in my upper waterline. I just got too close to my eyeball and I blinked involuntarily and this happened. So this is a mascara that I like the way that it looks on my lashes, but I have a hard time with the way that it comes out of the tube. And I don't have a full size, I have a sample, and this is YSL's The Shock. This is one of those that I nabbed up the sample because it came out I think like a year ago or a year and a half ago, and I remember hearing Rachel from Rach Loves, she was in love with this and she couldn't stop talking about it. And I had it in my little, right back here, this little glass jar, my stash, for years, and I hadn't opened, well, not years, for a year, and I hadn't opened it. And I finally thought, you know what, let me try that. She loves it so much and she still likes it. I was like, maybe it's really good. And the truth is, I have to actually go and clean the wand off here because so much product comes out on the wand and the gaps are kind of large. So it's not the easiest mascara to use. And if I don't clean it off, oh, spidery disaster. I do find that when I actually get the wand cleaned off, it actually gives a really pretty, fluttery, like lots of lashes look. But then when I go back to dip in, I still have to spend a lot of time cleaning off my tube here. I have to spend a lot of time just cleaning off all the excess mascara into the tube off of the wand because it's a lot. Time to put in some brows. I love the NYX Micro Brow. This is something that I remember Marlene Estelle from Makeup Geek talking about, and she basically was talking about how this is so similar to the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. And she talked about how the components were the same, how they were made in the same factory. And I was like, whoa, this is $10. The micro brow is $21. So for many years, I have just used this. I do tend to prefer a smaller, finer pencil. I feel like if they get too wide, it doesn't work as well for my brows. I can't be as precise. But this micro brow, I feel it's a really good facsimile of the Brow Wiz, which is my favorite one. But, you know, when they're $21 or $10, and I can't always tell a discernible difference, I feel like it's a really good way to save some dollars. So much better. Let's do the other one. So the older I get, the more my lips are losing collagen. They're not quite as plump or as large as they used to be. And I feel like if I just take a regular bullet lipstick, which is my favorite thing to wear on my lips, and just start going over my lips, I either go outside the line or I kind of go under, because the ridge that kind of is on the outside edge of my lips is not as full as it used to be. So I've really started to fall in love in the last year with lip liners. I've always liked lip liners, but this one is a Charlotte Tilbury one. This is a lip cheat in the shade Pillow Talk. And this is one that Jessica Braun from Jam Beauty 89. I remember I have another one of these in a different shade, but it's a really bright shade. This is one that she's like, it's so good, it's so perfect, it's the perfect shade, it's a great consistency. The next time I made a Charlotte Tilbury order, I picked this up because that's what Jessica said. She said she liked it, and I was like, well, okay then. So one of the lipstick formulas I have truly fallen in love with is this Luxuriously Lucent from Lisa Eldridge. I've been watching Lisa on YouTube for years, and when she finally last fall launched her own makeup line, and so far it's only been lipsticks, and lipsticks is my #1 most loved makeup item, my heart was like, oh, pitter pat, pitter pat, pitter pat, Lisa's releasing lipsticks, and they've been beautiful. The red velvets are phenomenal, but these Luxuriously Lucent shades are so gorgeous. This is the shade Love of My Life. I'm also going to throw on a little bit of the other one that she did in this formula. This one's called Go Lightly. I want more of a peach and not quite so pink. This lipstick formula is so gorgeous, so beautiful. I think it's comfortable. I even wear them, like a really light layer of them without lip liner, without makeup, just like on days that I'm not wearing anything. I do carry one of these in my handbag. I love that lipstick and I love that formula, and I can't wait to see what else she comes out with. But I'm gonna set my face with this. I'm almost out. This is Glow Recipes Watermelon Glow Ultrafine Mist, and this is on recommendation from Mel Thompson. I think this look turned out pretty good. I think it's really pretty, easy, wearable. And I love that everything that I picked up based on a recommendation works out so well for me. That is not always the case, but when I was thinking about making this video, and I'll link all of the channels below for the people that I mentioned, I will tell you these items have been like home runs for me. Every single thing really, really has worked out well. And it's nice to know that, you know, these YouTubers, we either have a similar approach to makeup application or what we're looking for in a product or colors or combinations that we like. It's nice to know that these people kind of, I'm on the same place and we like kind of the same sorts of things. Because there's a lot of other YouTubers that I love to watch, but I'm not as bold in my makeup choices as they are, or I don't wear nearly as much as they do, and so their recommendations aren't as useful to my everyday life. But these ones here, oh so good, oh so good. And I have fallen in love and used these multiple times. So I'm interested, have you ever made a purchase of a product based on a video that you watched, a recommendation from somebody else, a famous YouTuber, and you're like, oh, that was so good, I'm so glad I got that, or were you kind of like, it didn't do it for me? Because I've been there too. But everything here today has been phenomenal. Really, really enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching. Would you subscribe if you haven't, and recommend my channel to a friend if someone you think that would enjoy the sorts of videos I make, would you let them know about me? I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you again soon. Bye.